guys, heading for a meeting.
So welcome to a first episode of Being a Filmmaker, which is a new series that I've decided to, initiate. And through this series, I basically want to document everything that goes into being a filmmaker. And of course, this is very subjective because I do things in a certain way, but I believe that through sharing authentically and honestly what I do on a weekly basis, there's probably a lot of value that you can get out of it. And for me, it's also a tool to look at the process and maybe optimize eventually. Now, I've been really busy for the past month working on client projects, mostly post-production and a little bit of shooting. And so in this episode, I would like to talk about, what is it being busy? Is it good? Is it bad? How can we maybe free a little bit more time in our schedule as filmmakers, as freelancers? And just kind of dive deep into it. Apart from, the filmmaking side, I also want to talk about what goes into being a human and balancing life and work the way I try to do it. It's not always perfect, but it's a process. And so, if you're someone who's at the beginning of your journey and you really want to get an insight into how I work as a documentary filmmaker and cinematographer, then I'm sure you're going to enjoy the series. So what's on the schedule for today, guys? As I said, it's Monday, and today I have a lot of post-production and admin work. So I'm probably going to spend the whole day in front of the computer. I've already did my morning session. Now is noon. I'm not having lunch today because I'm fasting. Gonna do probably 4 or 5 more hours, and then I'm gonna relax for the evening. So that's it, and let's jump into this being a filmmaker journey. Cool, so let's do a catch up. How are you feeling health?
Oh yeah. Yes, more good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You smoke
I
still?
very no,
You stopped, right?
and it's like after 2 months,
Wow.
I'm feeling like it's really good in the morning after wake up.
Yeah. Nice. Work?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, works. I mean, it's good. Now I'm gonna finish all these projects, and then I don't have anything else aligned now. But I'm happy that then I can focus more on Patreon and on YouTube. Right, guys. So it's Tuesday, and I'm here today with Gil, who's my assistant BTS shooter. And every time we meet, not every time, but every time we meet for the first time in the week, we do a little catch up where we talk about, how are we feeling in terms of health, personal, and work. So this was our Tuesday catch up, and now we're gonna get the day started. All right, guys. So I just had a little break, jump in the pool to refresh myself, and it's something that I like to do throughout my day, especially if it's hot outside and if I'm busy, because it's sort of a way to reset my mind and reset my body for a bit. And I mentioned prior in the video that I've been really busy for the past 2 months working on client projects, and this week the projects are getting to the finish line. I have just sent one edit for review, should be the final edit already. And so that really the past 2 months really got me thinking about the idea of being busy and how our modern culture kind of praises that idea, working 14 hours a day in order to build your dreams. And I'm sure that it works for some people, but I realized that it doesn't work for me because I work the best if I do focus work, and I can only focus for a few hours a day. So even though and I must say that the past 2 months I've been editing probably 8 hours a day or doing something at least 8 hours a day, even on the weekends. So I know that I don't want to go forward this way. I want to find more time to, enjoy the everyday things, spend time with my wife, go exercise, do some trips in nature, invest more time into my hobbies. And because of that, I have to change the way I work. And my idea would be to really try to only work 4 to 5 hours a day, but do a lot of focus work. So no distractions, no social media, probably no calls, no meetings, and see how that works, if that frees up more of my time and allows me basically to, find a little better work-life balance. And of course, there's tools that can help you with this. I'm, for example, using Sunsama, which is kind of a daily tracker, daily planner. And it's a really nice tool to basically keep track of your to-do lists and to make sure that you're getting the stuff done every day, but also that you're only working a certain amount of hours per day. So check that out. I mean, this is not a sponsored video, but I really like using that tool. All right, guys, so now it's 6:44 a.m. and we are on the beach in Bali because we are doing a little creative exercise. This is this will be a part of each weekly episode where I just want to find a reason to go out, do something creative, and also learn something new. So that's what we're doing today. I think somewhere there between the trees. Yeah, I think let's set up here. Now we're gonna wait for the sun to come out. As I said, we are on the beach, and the creative exercise that I want to do today is about how to quickly light interview just using natural light and a reflector or a bounce or a negative fill. The reason I want to show you and the reason I also want to practice it is because I had a shoot 2 weeks ago and we were in this situation where we were kind of rushing and we had to get a little quote from someone in front of the camera. And so in the moment, it was very hectic and I didn't take the time to slow down and to think about, okay, where do I position the character? Do I diffuse? Do I bounce? Do I just use negative fill? So I wanted to kind of refresh this knowledge and basically do this exercise outside. The limitation we have is that we don't have a model, so I'm going to be in front of the camera and Gil will actually be holding the bounce. So it's really minimal setup, no stands, just like if you would be somewhere in the field, run and gunning your shoot. Yeah, so let's just set up the camera and see how that looks. So the sun is slowly coming out and that's what we need because we want to really work with normal, harsh sun. Right now it's 7:05, so the sun is getting higher. We are close to the equator, so already at this hour the sun is quite high, but as you can see it's not super harsh yet. So this is how it's looking without any diffusion or anything. Right now the sun is over there, so 45 degrees to the camera, and this is how it looks with natural light. My opinion, it's already a little too harsh, so I probably wouldn't shoot. If I shoot, I would probably try to either bounce. So Gil, let's try to bounce. And we try to bounce actually, I think in order to make it more natural, let's try to bounce from here. So we just kind of like, no, actually you have to actually here, yeah. But behind the camera, there, yeah, there. And I think now it's bouncing now. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so now this is very, very subtle, but you can see that we have a little less contrast, especially because we brought a little bit more light into this side of my face. And so this could work, but we still getting little harsher shadows. So I think that what we can try now is to diffuse. So we try to diffuse the light. And by the way, guys, I'm shooting on my Kinefinity Mavo LF Mark II in 4K full frame. And now Gil is going to bring in the diffusion here. Yeah. So now we diffuse the light. Yeah. Yeah, now we diffuse the light and you can see that it's much softer. We don't have a lot of contrast because there's no negative fill around here. Nothing that is natural. So this would be an option if we are going for kind of a, soft looking interview and you are really in the moment and you don't have time to set up negative fill. You just need to get a quick quote. So we could basically go with diffusion and it already looks better. Put it down. right? You can see, guys, that what the diffusion is doing. So yeah, probably for this setup where the sun is 45 degrees towards the camera, this would be the two options that we have, either bounce or diffuse. Doesn't make sense to put negative fill here because the light is, the light here is already casting shadows. So I'm gonna try to move the camera and see what we can do. All right, so now I'm just gonna rotate a little bit with the camera. We change location so we have more sun coming in. And let's set it on around here. So I'm in focus. This is where I would be looking. And as you can see, the light is now more than 90 degrees to the camera. So we're kind of side backlighting. I think already we have a little more contrast. We're getting more shadow here and the sun is coming from this side. So now again, we have two options, either diffuse. So let's try that first. Let's diffuse. Nice. We see the diffusion. Maybe try to lift it a little higher. Go further. Yeah, there. All right, so now we are diffusing, and already I think this looks much better. I'm looking this way. We're getting a soft light. We are not getting a lot of shadow here. So theoretically, if there's another person, we could bring in a negative fill. But I do like how the light is also falling on the trees. It's creating the depth and dimension on the trees. And I could theoretically move my camera and I could get much closer towards the trees in order to create more negative fill on this side. So we're gonna try that later. Nice. Awesome, man, yeah. And push it to the other side, yeah. Yeah, yes. You need to get your body to the, yeah. Yes. Nice progress.
If only I could change, I wouldn't be this way. The lows, the highs, the way you glow, you change your mind, you free your soul.
Morning, guys. So it's almost 7 a.m. I'm just having my coffee at this place called Flower Boy, which is in the neighborhood, and doing a little bit of journaling as well. It's kind of my morning routine. But I wanted to connect on the topic of busy. Yesterday, I saw an ad from Solomon Lichterhelm, which is an incredible director. And this ad was actually playing on the idea of us as a society just being too busy. And it was shot in Prague, which is where I'm from. It's a beautiful piece of craft, cinematography, directing, color, everything. But what I found funny is that it is an ad. And so in the end, it promotes a product. And the product that it promotes is a Hewlett-Packard laptop, which has a AI in its name. So probably it implements some sort of AI tools. And I just find it funny that, the fact that we are so busy as society and as people, this brand is basically saying, hey, we're going to solve the problem with a piece of technology, where in reality, I think that it is also the technology that keeps us so busy, right? Fast dopamine, access to all information that we can imagine, and so on. So yeah, I don't think that, a laptop is really solution to your busyness. I think that the solution is to work more effectively, prioritize your work, focus better, and probably do less, but with more impact. So I just wanted to share my thoughts on this. And also one of the reasons why I don't like to do commercials, because you're always promoting something. And oftentimes I feel like these brands are implementing tactics, playing on, these days playing on sustainability, on mindfulness, on, wellness and health. But in reality, I don't think they're solving real problems. So yeah, just my thoughts on this. And I'm going to get the day started. Today is Thursday, and tomorrow a big thing is happening. So I'll take you with me. So I can create my own event. This is Bali Book Talk, but it could be Film Brew Club, February 20 or whatever. and then people can see the event online, so they know exactly when is the date, where is the place, like they get more info, not just through a story, but an actual website or a link to a website where they can subscribe to an event, right? So you can register, so we know how many people is coming, you put location, you put time. Yeah, this would be good. Yeah, guys, we were talking about an event because for the past maybe 7 or 8 months, I've been doing small events here in Bali. I call it Film Brew Club because it started more as a morning coffee. I go for coffee every morning. And so I was thinking, how can I combine my morning coffees with also meeting other creatives and, exchanging ideas and building a network. So it started like that. And I think I did 5 or 6 events now. Originally, it was just a meetup. And then it turned into also having a talk with some friends. So kind of a discussion panel, usually just 2 people. And then networking afterwards. And then I also did one where we went bouldering. So I'm really just trying to combine the things that I like to do in form of a meetup, bringing community together and building stuff in real life. And this is one of those things that I enjoy. And I definitely plan on expanding that a little bit, maybe into a few days event as well, going for an adventure, going for a surf trip with like-minded people, documentary filmmakers or adventure filmmakers, and just seeing how we can help each other and how we can collaborate more. So trying to figure that out now. And I think there's going to be a next event in a week or 2. So if you are a subscriber to my newsletter, you will get a notification about that. Yeah, I think the text we can only include with the dishes that are static, like the tuna, if you want. We don't have to. Okay. Let people wonder, yeah. Yeah. So today has been a little slower day. I had a meeting with Gil in the morning and we've kind of divided and each of us worked on something else. I was editing this video that you're watching. So I spent probably the past 5 hours seated at the computer and just editing. And now it's almost 5 p.m. I have to do a few more emails. I'm still waiting for feedback for a social media piece that I'm creating for a London-based studio about regenerative farming. And then I have to do some packing because we are going away for a weekend with Laura and some friends. And so that's going to be exciting. We're going to spend some time in nature and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. But for the rest of the day, just a bit of admin work. Good morning, guys. So now it's 8:20 a.m. It's Friday, and I just packed my stuff because I'm gonna head to a coffee place to meet some of my friends, and then we're gonna drive up north on the motorbikes. And yeah, so a little weekend away without work. I'm not even taking my laptop, and just enjoying time with friends and spending time in nature.
Not sure where I'm headed this time around.
Guys, this is how you take gas in Indonesia. You have these small gas stations all around. For sometimes they have a gas in bottles of vodka.
So I head down south to the land of the free. Measure up my life, checking where I'm gonna be. And there she stands with the red coat on, looking so damn cute with a smile like the sun.
All right, guys, we finished our coffee and let's go. So we just stopped by this beautiful forest and I'm gonna check it out because we're a little faster than expected. If you can go to the top, it's like overlooking the whole lake. Oh, I don't know if there's a viewpoint. This is one of the things I love on living in Bali and driving bike around. You can just stop at these places that grab your attention, or curiosity, and give them a little visit. I need to do this more often. All right, guys, we have just arrived, and the place is amazing.
Amazing. I mean, I'm blown away.
She's the whole reason.
She's the whole reason.
With a smile like the sun. With a smile like the sun.
Ukončená, neukončená, jo. Že
Jo.
téma, proč se to děje a postupně jsme to odkrývali, ale že by to nebylo tak, že jdeme jako ten nás posílal tam, ten nás posílal tam. Což vlastně jako
Já taky no. So we made it to the villa for my wife's birthday, and it's almost end of the day. Today is Friday. I just finished a call with a friend from Czech Republic. That's where I'm originally from. And we were discussing some feedback on a film which we shot last year in Congo about wildlife protection and elephant poaching. And the film is getting into the finish line, so it's quite exciting. In terms of work, that's it for today. I'm not going to edit. I'm not going to do any more work. As I said, it's 5 p.m. And I'm just going to enjoy the weekend with my friends and with my wife because she has birthday in this beautiful, beautiful villa which we rented. And just wanted to say that I'm really grateful to be able to, come to a place like this and enjoy it with the people that I love. And it's not something that we do often, but I think once in a while it's really nice. And it hasn't always been like this, If I look at my life and career 7 years ago, I was living in Bali at that time, but I was living in a very, very basic room without aircon, without hot water, and I was selling boat parties. So I was a promoter. It was kind of the beginning of my journey, and I was trying to save enough money in order to buy my first camera. And so just looking back and looking where I am now, I feel really grateful. Now, I also wanted to touch on why I'm actually doing these videos, guys, because, as I said, I've decided I'm going to document what goes into being a filmmaker or my version of it. And I think that there's a few reasons why I want to do this. Reason number one being that it allows me to practice more. It allows me, to have a reason to go out and shoot, just like I did with the interview setup. And it allows me to experiment, and it allows me to keep getting better at what I do while also providing value to you, So that's reason number one. Reason number two is to get a little better overview of what I'm working on, right? Because as we're working and going through life, I think it's nice to take a bird's eye view of what you're doing, if the things that you're doing are actually effective. Sorry, there's some loud bikes around. So if the things that you're doing are effective, and I think also to see from a different perspective, from kind of your perspective, how my life looks. And that hopefully will allow me to change the things that I don't like. And it will allow me to bring in more things and experiences and people that I do really enjoy. And then the last reason is probably because I've been feeling that, in the past few years, with the rise of YouTube and filmmaking being more accessible, cameras being more accessible, I think what's happening is that being a filmmaker is becoming a little glorified. And don't get me wrong, I love what I do. I think it's the best career in the world. But I think that it's not for everyone. I think that a lot of people believe that they do want to have filmmakers because they see the experiences you can get as a filmmaker. But in order to get to that point, you need to walk that journey for a while. I mean, I haven't even been on this journey for long, 7 years, but it's still 7 years of you doing something consistently, going through the ups and downs and making sure that, you're heading towards the version of yourself that you want to become. And so I want to show people what really goes into filmmaking, the boring stuff as well, the fact that this week I've spent mostly editing. And sometimes, these might be weeks or months where you're just editing. You're not shooting, you're not going out, you're not experiencing stories and meeting characters. And if you will still want to be a filmmaker despite seeing the boring stuff and the struggles, then I think it is probably a career or a life path for you. I would say more of a life path than a career. And so, I just want to kind of show people the unfiltered version of this rather than just sit on front of the camera and tell you what to do, how to do that and that. I would rather show you how I do it. And hopefully some stuff resonates, some maybe doesn't, but whatever does resonate, you can take that and reshape it into your own thing, into something that feels authentic to you. And I think that's the only way to be able to find your creative expression, and meaning in your career, to really figuring out who you are. And that's a process, and it takes time. It took time for me, and I'm still on the journey. So yeah, as I said, now I'm gonna turn off the camera, enjoy the weekend with my friends and with my wife, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.